Hey guys, what's going on? It's your boy, the Mad Tiger, and up here today I am going to be doing part 1 of the updated PlayStation 4 collection. I don't know how many games I have now, roughly about 100 or so physical games, and the way I thought I'd do this is I split it into 2 parts, and today we're going to be looking at Western games, so games that were released, either multi-platform games or westernized games, not Japanese RPGs and things, just some sort of Western games. I've sort of split it into different parts to make it easier. And in part 2, I will be talking about the indie games and the Eastern games, the sort of harder to find stuff, the more quirky things on the PlayStation. But before I do that, I just thought I'd show off 2 things that I picked up from Amazon. Actually, I got this from CX Online. Budokai Tenkaichi 2. This was only a £5. I was actually surprised that it was only £5, so quite happy to have this one in the collection and be playing that soon. And I also picked up this pretty cool grip for my Nintendo Switch. It definitely makes it so much easier to hold. I love the Nintendo Switch, don't get me wrong, but one of the biggest issues I have with it is that when you hold it for too long, it really does start to cramp up your hand. So this grip actually fits quite nicely. It just slots in, and there's even some spaces for, games and stuff. And you can just sort of leave it there like that. So yeah, nice little addition there to make the Switch much more playable. But without further ado, I got my PlayStation pretty late into its life cycle, about 3 years ago actually, and I've been collecting for a while. At first I didn't actually collect many games for the PS4. I mainly got it for Japanese titles and things like that, but I switched over, so now I get everything for PS4 physical, and most of the time when I buy an Xbox One game, it's a digital game or something I'm going to play with my friend. But we'll start off first with the sports games that I have. I have FIFA 14, 15, 16 and 17. I thought I had 18 as well, but I don't. These games are just dirt cheap. You can get pretty much all of these games for like 50p a piece. It's ridiculous how cheap these are. I thought I had 18, but I might not. So yeah, these games are just dirt cheap. I don't bother really with sports games, especially getting them day one. I'm not really a big sports fan in general. But again, these games are just for collection purposes. I don't really play them, but if you're going to get a sports game for collection, just save your money and wait until they go cheap. Then we have an NBA game, NBA Live 15. Again, one of the few basketball games that I do have. I believe NBA Live is the EA version and NBK is the 2K version, so sort of the rival. Also NHL 17. I actually don't mind playing a hockey game once in a while, but when it comes to sports games, I prefer arcadey sports games or older, sort of Sega Mega Drive sports games, where they're just fun. Got 2 Madden games, Madden 14 and Madden 15. Well, this one's called 25, but this is a 14. It's basically 25 years of Madden, and Madden 15. Again, much of the same. And also got Don Bradman's Cricket. This actually has like a campaign to it where you start off like as a 16-year-old cricket and you work your way up. If I was a cricket fan, I suppose that'd be pretty fun, but I don't know. And I also got WWE 2K20, the only WWE game I have on PS4. I play this occasionally from time to time. Of course, this year we're not getting a 2K21. We're getting Battlegrounds, which actually looks pretty fun. I won't lie. Now we go on to a couple of racing games that I have. Drive Club and Trials Fusion. This is just a normal version. There's no DLC in there. But yeah, I actually don't have many racing games for the PS4, which is kind of a shock because on the PS2 I have like 50 or 60 racing games. So this is actually a pretty fun game. It's not really, I wouldn't class it as racing, but it kind of is. Drive Club was sort of a sort of standalone game that really was meant to be bigger than what it was, but they did release a VR version as well. Then we have two Telltale games. We have Batman and Batman: The Enemy Within. I played a tiny bit of the this one on Xbox, but I will definitely have to go back and play through these because these are pretty fun sort of Telltale games. You know, adventure. I guess you can call them action adventure games, but it's all multiple choice and all that stuff. So, Telltale's games are pretty fun if you enjoy those sort of things, but I have to be in the right frame of mind to play them. I have a couple of Call of Duties, Infinite Warfare and Advanced Warfare. Again, these are sort of like the bastard childs of the Call of Duty series. I don't care for multiplayer in Call of Duty anymore. I haven't cared for multiplayer in Call of Duty since World at War. But these games are cheap now, so I don't mind having these in the collection for, you know, single player aspect, you know, campaigns and, you know, some single player modes, I guess. They're pretty fun, you know, they do have enjoyable campaigns. Most of the Call of Duties have a really decent campaign. So I picked these up cheap. Again, if you don't care for the multiplayer, wait for these games for a year after release. And as you can see, they are dirt cheap still. Then we have Resident Evil 7. My VR game will be in my next part as well. But this one isn't really a VR game. It does work with the VR, but Resident Evil 7, of course, a first-person horror game. Number 8 has been announced, and it's going to be a first-person game by the looks of it. I haven't played this yet, but I have seen a playthrough, and it is a really good horror game. If you want to play it in VR, just be aware it's very, very scary. I only didn't really bother playing it in VR that much because the graphics in VR aren't perfect, and it does sort of mess with your eyes a little bit. Then we have Star Wars Battlefront. Yes, this game really failed to meet expectations. The second game has improved a lot, and obviously is sort of reaching its end of life cycle now, unfortunately. Again, there's not really much in the way of single player in this mode. There's a few things you can do in single player, but again, this game is dirt cheap. You know, it was an impressive looking game, don't get me wrong, it just failed to meet expectations. Then we have Dishonored 2 and Death of the Outsider. I really enjoyed these games. I'm not going to lie, I didn't really play much stealth in these. I actually went killer mode. But these games are great single player games. They're not that long, but you can beat these games however you want. If you want to be stealthy and don't kill people and just knock them out and stuff, you can do that. If you want to go full ham and kill everyone, you can do that. If you want to play a mix, you can do that. Really fun single player games, definitely worth checking out, and have a great sort of replay value if you want to play through it again in a different play style. Overwatch, I have a physical version of Overwatch on PS4. I actually don't play it on PS4 that much. In fact, I've only played it a couple of times since getting it. But I have it because my brother has it, so, you know. But I play this on Xbox One. It's one of my go-to games on Xbox One. But yeah, Overwatch is still a modern-day classic and still going strong to this day. There are some problems with it. BioShock the Collection, I do have this digital with all 3 games. The physical version I have only has BioShock 1 and 2. Not really bothered so much about it because, again, I have it digital with all 3 games. I just wanted a physical version of 1 and 2, I guess. But BioShock are excellent games. Great single player games, mixing sort of horror with, you know, sci-fi, I guess, steampunk. Deus Ex Mankind Divided. I actually haven't played this, but again, this is a great sort of semi-open world, like mix between cyberpunk, stealth, action, RPG. Really good games, I hear. Just haven't really played much of them. So, yeah. Also have Zombie. This was originally called Zombie U on the Wii U, and then they re-released it on PS4 and Xbox. It's an okay game. It has some cool elements to it. but it isn't amazing. It's an okay game, maybe like a 6 out of 7, a 6 to 7 star game. You know, nothing amazing, but it's enjoyable if you are looking for another sort of survival horror game, I guess. Raid World War II. This is basically Payday in World War II. Unfortunately, it really is a game that you need to have people to play it with. Kind of like Payday. It's not as good as Payday, I will say. It just sort of failed to meet expectations in that aspect. But John Cleese is in this, so it makes it all the worthwhile to hear John Cleese, I guess. Then we have Destiny, just the standalone single version of Destiny. Never really got into Destiny, but I did play a tiny bit of it on Xbox. Not really my sort of game, but I can understand the appeal. Far Cry 5, again, a game that I am still playing to this day. I'm going to be finishing it off tonight, hopefully, finishing off the Lost in Mars DLC and then the Zombies DLC. Been playing it through co-op with my friend. Really enjoyed Far Cry 5. It definitely, in my opinion, was the best Far Cry game. I still think 3 was the best story, was the most enjoyable game, a memorable one, but this one is definitely a really good game, so much better than 4. Then we have Lara Croft and the Temple of Osiris. This is sort of like a top-down co-op game, sort of like a isometric view action platformer. Actually a really fun game. If you've got some people to play it with, check it out. It's definitely different than the other Lara Croft games, but it's enjoyable. Lego DC Supervillain, the only Lego game I have on PS4 physical at the moment. I played a tiny bit of this, maybe a few levels. I do need to go back and finish it. I really hope they do a Marvel Supervillains game as well. The Lego games are just enjoyable games, you know, really fun games, you know, just have a bit of fun with them, nothing too serious. And we have Knack, another sort of Sony launch title. I've heard this game's actually pretty fun. I can't remember if the second one was kind of a disappointment. I'm not too sure, but yeah, it's a sort of action platformer, beat 'em up almost, I think. And we have a Strange Brigade. This is basically like another online multiplayer game. It's kind of like if you've ever played Sniper Army Trilogy or anything like that. It's one of those sort of zombie survival game, but with mummies, I guess. The Evil Within, another excellent third-person survival horror game. Lots of psychological in there. Really dark and twisted horror game. I played about a third of the game on Xbox, so I have to go back and play it again on PS4. We have Anthem. This game is getting a big rework soon, I hear. So hopefully this game does get a massive rework soon and make the game more enjoyable. But it really suffered with a lot of problems. But I hear it's not a bad game. It just didn't do what it promised to be, I think. The Order 1886, another launch title, but actually a really decent game. It's not the most amazing game by today's standard, but it was a pretty fun game. Very Gears of War style game, but actually enjoyable if you've got a couple of hours to pass the time. Definitely check out the Order 1886. And we have Dragon Age Inquisition. Again, I played a tiny bit of the original Dragon Age game on Xbox 360, but and I enjoyed what I played, but I heard this game is absolutely fantastic. So much to do in there, you know, not really a lot of things that you can't do in the game. Lots of many open world, you know, lots of choices and play styles, of course. Great sort of RPG. Then we have 2 copies of Assassin's Creed Origins, a standalone version and the deluxe version. I'm going to be honest with you, I haven't played Assassin's Creed Origins. I sort of gave up with Assassin's Creed after Black Flag. There's so many Assassin's Creed games now, it's unbelievable. But I enjoy the games for what they are. But I do need to go back and play through them again. And I'll try and get the other ones as well. And try and do some playthroughs of Assassin's Creed in the future. But yeah. Still good games, don't get me wrong. Fallout 4. Excellent game. I know a lot of people didn't really think it was that great when it first released. A lot of people felt like this game should have been better than what it was. You know, but don't get me wrong, it's a great game. There's so much to do in it. It just, some people, it had mixed reviews against the fan base, but I enjoyed it for what it was. I played it on Xbox, so that's why I have a PS4 version as well. Agents of Mayhem, a game that should have had co-op. If this game had co-op, I think it would have done even better. It's not a bad game. It just sort of makes you wish you were playing, you know, Saints Row 5. There is actually talk of Saints Row 5 is going to be going back to its roots and being much more realistic, which would make a lot of sense. Mass Effect Andromeda, another game that really sort of failed to meet the expectations. Some people say it's not a bad game, it just really didn't meet the expectations of what people wanted from it. But again, Mass Effect games are huge games with so much to do in them. So then we have Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor. I thought I had the limited edition version of this. I might have it somewhere. Another excellent game. Really, really good sort of open world. If you enjoy the Batman games, definitely check this one out. Very similar in its playstyle. Then we have the two infamous games, Second Son and First Light. I haven't actually played First Light yet, but these are actually pretty good open world sort of like superhero style games. Again, there's lots of choices you can make. You can either be good or bad and that sort of stuff, but they're pretty fun games. They are a bit older than the PS4, but if you enjoy sort of like superhero games, check them out. And last we have Watch Dogs. I actually really enjoyed Watch Dogs. I haven't played the second one yet. I hear the second one is excellent. And of course we have Watch Dogs Legion on the way. So yeah. So sorry if I sort of whizzed through this first part. I didn't want the video to go on for too long. So yeah, in my second part of the video I will be talking about all of my sort of like JRPGs, indie games, and sort of the VR games as well, some of the lesser known titles. A lot of these games are multi-platform, but some of them aren't. It's kind of obvious which ones are and which ones aren't. But yeah, I actually enjoy collecting for the PS4. I'm still going to be collecting more games for it over the time. But the PS4 game, a lot of these games I've shown here are actually at least under £10 nowadays, so you can get a lot of these games dirt cheap now. So if you're looking at collecting for the PS4, now's a good time to do it before the PS5 comes out. Get some of these games cheap. There's something for everyone here. But yeah, these are the sort of more common games, if you will. So these are the sort of games that you'll see in most game shops and things. So if you're into these sort of Western games and you know, multi-platform games, definitely check these ones out. If I had to choose one here, if I had to choose a few that I recommend to newcomers to the PS4, Far Cry 5 for sure, definitely. You want to check out Far Cry 5. Dishonored again is another one that I'd highly recommend. Of course, I think I would also recommend the Order 1886 because it's actually a really fun game. It's short, but it's enjoyable. So yeah. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Of course, the second part will be on Sunday. Of course, going with this new schedule. I forgot it was Wednesday today, so but yeah, of course, I gave up with Dynasty Warriors 3, so I'm moving on to 3 Extreme Legends now. I'm going to play that for a bit before moving on to the next one. Of course, if you enjoyed today's video, feel free to leave a like and, of course, comment below. Let me know what you have in your PS4 collection. Do you think this is a good way of doing it? Sort of splitting it between the more common stuff and the more uncommon stuff. I think it's a great way of doing it. It's something different than what I usually do. And of course, guys, subscribe if you haven't already and join the family. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at The Mad Kyger, as well as Twitch. I will be streaming, hopefully tonight, with some finishing off the Far Cry 5 Lost in Mars DLC, and then doing the Dead Living Zombies missions. I have asked my friend if he's coming on. If he doesn't reply, then I might go on Overwatch. I don't know yet. We'll see. So anyway, guys, have a nice day, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, and bye-bye.